Today, the streets of Havana remained quiet, but the echoes of last year's unprecedented protests still hang in the air. The chance for change, unlike anything the island has seen in decades. People gathering by the thousands in what would turn into the largest protest in Cuba since communist leader Fidel Castro took control in 1959. Across the islands, Cubans fed up with rising inflation, ongoing political oppression, and shortages of food and medicine made worse by the pandemic. Their rallying cry, Patria y Vida, homeland and life, a take on the Castro regime motto, Patria o Muerte, homeland or death. The mantra later turned into an anthem. But for those in Cuba, their rallies were met with a swift crackdown. The communist government arrested over 1,000 protesters, charging many with sabotage, public disorder, and sedition. Now, 1 year later, many of those protesters still behind bars. Although the government hasn't released the exact number, one humanitarian group estimates that at least 700 Cubans remain in detention, 622 of those sentenced to up to 25 years in prison.
¿Cuál es tu mayor sueño para Cuba? At the end of the day, what is your biggest dream for Cuba?
Hay más de 1,000 presos políticos y que esa liberación sea el principio de un cambio hacia un país democrático.
Raul Prado was among those arrested last July. He was later forced into house arrest, and for the future of his family, says it became clear that he needed to leave the country.
I didn't want him to grow up in a place where his family doesn't have a voice.
I spoke with Prado shortly after he arrived in Miami. There, he reunited with his wife, who came after him just a few months later, crossing the U.S.-Mexico border alone in the dead of night while 8 months pregnant.
So many people are leaving your country. Something is wrong in your country.
Since the protests, tens of thousands of Cubans have fled the island, some by land, others by sea. The pace of this most recent wave of Cuban migration so great that it surpassed the infamous 1980 Mariel boat exodus, when some 125,000 migrants sailed from Cuba to the shores of Florida, pushed by a stagnant economy. Castro also opened prisons and mental institutions, allowing anyone who wanted to leave the island. Today, Cubans like Carlos Manuel Alvarez, a journalist and author who left Cuba in 2015 and has been detained and interrogated by the Cuban government multiple times, says that July 11th forever changed Cuban history and consciousness.
¿Cree usted que Cuba es diferente desde aquel momento, ese 11 de julio, hace un año? Do you think Cuba is different today than it was a year ago?
La cabeza de la gente cambió.
You think that the people's minds have
Y
changed?
probablemente eso sea lo más importante para lograr un cambio real en la isla.
And you think that's perhaps the biggest cause of change, to see a real change on the island?
He hopes that day was a step in a new direction.
Morgan Radford joins us now in studio. So, Morgan, I know you've been covering this story for a year now. What, if anything, has changed on the island?
What's interesting is that one thing that Carlos mentioned was that the mental shift, he felt like, was the biggest step forward. This was a time where people finally could acknowledge that they felt this way, and the community sense of swell around them, they said, was significant. But what's also interesting is that Raul, the gentleman we met in Miami, he said, look, you know, it's also changed that you know that your neighbors are starting to feel this way, because when he protested before July 11th, the people who were banging on his windows and were shouting at him, they were his own neighbors. And now, after July 11th, he said it wasn't so much my neighbors. They were more supporting me, and there was a shift. So the people who were against me were more state agents. So they said that this sense it's a big deal to see that mental shift.
You know, when you are in Miami, you can still see cars that have the Patria y Vida written on them. It's faded a little bit, but it's still there, and the sentiment's still there. And I feel it's a sentiment that's been there since 1959, and it's frustrating for a lot of Cuban Americans because, of course, things have never changed. And for the Cubans on the island, what, if anything, changes with the government or the U.S. relationship with Cuba right now after what's happened over the last year?
Well, a lot has changed in terms of the Biden administration. There are three kind of main things. Number one, you can see flights reinstated that go to the nether parts of the island, right, and the eastern parts of the island. But you also see things like the family reunification program reinstated, or the end of the cap on remittances that you can send back to family. So those are changes that Cubans on the island see. But the question they have is sort of, what is the larger intent intent behind these changes. One thing that Carlos said was, it's interesting watching this current administration because he can't really tell if they have one foot sort of in the predecessor from from Obama's administration when they were focused on opening up relations, or there still seems like there's also a foot in the Trump administration policies, which was closing the relationship between the two.
You know, dissidents are still being jailed. You still cannot speak out against the government. Things are still very bad in Cuba. We hear it from our family. What is the sense you're getting from the people you're talking to? Because I know you have so many good relationships there still in that country. Do people think they're ever going to see a change?
People do believe in change. I mean, in fairness, when I was living there, studying there, this was not something, July 11th was not something that I could have anticipated because people still spoke in hushed tones.
Right.
But now, you know, look, I mean, to be clear, there is a diversity of thought, right, on the island and well as here. And so I think people feel that there is hope that voices can be included and that there can be change, hopefully, in the near future so that even more voices can be elevated.
Maybe a diversity of voices, but also voices that don't get imprisoned when they say what they believe. We're going to have to wait and see. All right, Morgan,
Absolutely.
we thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.